Hello and welcome. I am Ben the Best 5 and you are watching my current series on efficient career contracts. So here I have selected a mission which I am going to be showing you guys to demonstrate a bit of a new concept for launching vehicles, completely different to the previous vehicles I've used previously to launch satellites. So this is just a fairly regular put a satellite in Mimas orbit. However, it's perfectly ideal for this new type of launch vehicle which I want to show you. Something completely new, and I don't think I've seen many other people try this before, so I'm kind of excited about it. So here we are with the much anticipated, I'm sure, launch vehicle. So this vehicle itself, it's neither an SSTO or a stratolauncher. You see, I combined the two concepts of an SSTO and a stratolauncher to create this. Basically what it does is it uses the Rapier engines to shoot the launch vehicle out of the atmosphere and up, the way that things do, because it's very, very powerful. And then I have a second stage there, which is actually a modified version of the M-class upper stage, which then carries the payload to orbit. Now this design here actually incorporates the advantages of an SSTO and a stratolaunch vehicle. It also makes a stratolaunch style possible, because previously a stratolaunch wouldn't be particularly possible without using mods to recover the plane, and it has the advantage of an SSTO in it being cheap, because you can recover the main lifting body, which is the expensive part, and for 100% value because it lands on the runway, and you only expend that small, rather cheap to launch upper stage. In fact, I would argue that this is even more efficient than an SSTO, because instead of burning all of the fuel required to move a large body into space, you're only burning the fuel required to send a very small upper stage into space, which means although you are expending the upper stage components themselves are incredibly cheap and cost almost nothing to launch, and the fuel in them is a lot less than the fuel required to launch an entire SSTO sized vehicle to orbit, which therefore means that this vehicle is more efficient to launch than an SSTO, and it also has the cool factor of being, I guess, kind of a stratolauncher, which can be completely recovered in a stock game. Now you notice that for the design of this, I basically stole the stock stratolauncher which comes as a craft file in the game, and that is true, I kind of did do that because I started to develop it myself, and then it started to more and more just look like the default one that the game provided. So instead of spending hours and hours, creating my own thing and then testing it and then modifying it and testing it more and then it breaking and then doing all this fine tuning and having to build it and stuff, I instead took something which was very, very similar and had all of the core basic bits, the basic components I needed for it to work, and then I modified it so that it was capable of performing the mission required just as I needed it to. Here we are in the upper atmosphere, and I'll start to create a maneuver node here, and then I'll stage the upper stage so that it can perform that by itself. Shouldn't take it very long because we are already most of the way into orbit, and then I can simply land re-enter the the lower stage, the launching stage, the launcher-like bit, and then I can simply recover it. here we are detaching the upper stage, and we can go ahead and deploy that fairing now because we are up and out of the atmosphere. And we'll just extend the solar panels because I forgot to attach them to an action group. However, that is all okay. Started the burn a bit late, but it's all good. And now you're just going to be seeing some footage of this making it to orbit. Alright, so now that this vehicle is in fact now in orbit, we can go ahead and fly the main launch vehicle safely back to the launch pad. Alright, now we just want to point prograde for this for the re-entry. Now this vehicle, it's not overly, good with hitting re-entry stuff. However, it's not actually having to re-enter from orbit, it's simply having to re-enter from a suborbital trajectory, which means that it's not going to be experiencing the same kind of forces that it would be experiencing if it was re-entering from orbit like an SSTO would, which is why it can get away with things like big wings. So from here on in, you're just going to be seeing some sped up footage of it re-entering and then landing on the runway for a 100% recovery. See, on the landing, runway, perfectly good landing. Here we are on the landing pad, runway, perfectly good landing, nothing to see here. And yeah, we can go ahead and recover this. No science, but what can you expect? So here we are, we have in fact recovered the entire value of that spacecraft, which has made this an incredibly efficient mission, spending only a few $1,000 in that upper stage, as well as the actual probe that needs deploying. Alright, and here we are with the probe that needs to go to Minmus and be put in a polar orbit. From this point on, I'm just going to show you some sped up footage of some highlights and stuff, not the whole process, because, I've got other videos like that. Specifically, my first and second videos really demonstrate how to do stuff like this, so you can go watch those if you want a detailed view, but for now I'm just going to show you some highlights. Then I'll show you an end screen, and wrap it up. Alrighty, the space satellite is now in the correct orbit, and the mission is completed using a hyper-efficient SSTO stratolauncher hybrid, which is fully recoverable even in stock Kerbal Space program. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. All support is very welcome, and I'm very thankful for all of it. Thank you again for watching.